Welcome back to New Jersey Power and Politics. I'm Luke Margolis. Governor Christie has set a goal of ending homelessness in New Jersey. Optimistic, but is it possible? He's setting up a task force to look into solutions. My next guest has already been in the trenches working with vulnerable people across our community. Dr. David Ireland is the founder and senior pastor of Christ Church in Montclair and Rockaway. Welcome to the show, Pastor.
My pleasure, Luke. Thanks for the opportunity.
Excellent. Does it warm your heart to hear that the governor has set such an ambitious goal as it relates to fighting homelessness?
Absolutely. I think part of the role of government is to provide advocacy for people that are in need. And so they should represent the people, fight for the people, overthrow the people's enemies. And so I really am thankful that Governor Christie set that. Is it realistic? That's another story.
That's the question, right? I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's a very ambitious goal.
It's very aggressive, and I think that it's good that it's on the table and it's being considered. I think that it's not. I think that it's impossible because there's so many factors that nobody can control.
Impossible to totally eradicate.
Correct. Because there are things beyond our control. For example, this recession. When will it end? You know, where will things be 10 years from now? Because that's one of the drivers for homelessness. You know, if a person can't work and have a good wage to be able to provide a source of living for their family, then it contributes to homelessness. And so there are a lot of factors that are outside of our control.
What are some of the reality here in New Jersey is that in many of our cities, homelessness is an issue. What is the current state of affairs that, as you see it so far here in New Jersey? How are we doing currently on our problem?
Well, statistically, we have about 13,000 people in New Jersey that are considered homeless. And of that, about 4,300 are children. And so it's not a good thing. There's an increase because of the recession, as I mentioned before, as well as the issue of foreclosures that contributes to homelessness. And you know, when you deal with prisoners coming out of prison, that contributes to it, as well as people aging out of the whole issue of DIFUS, and so that contributes to homelessness.
Veterans, the governor talked about homeless veterans. That's a big problem.
So there are a lot of factors, and then the whole idea of people, that is the term called doubling, when you find people living together that are from different families to try to cope economically. And so all of those individuals then are at-risk people for homelessness. And so it is a challenging situation, but I think that one of the benefits is that there are people working in collaborative ways. And I think that's where I applaud Governor Christie for putting this topic on the table. And I would say that since there are 5 sectors in every society, there's the government and political, the business and economic, there's the family sector, the religious sector, and then the educational sector. The only way we can try to solve the problem of homelessness or drop it drastically is when each of those sectors come at the table. So when the governor puts a council together, he should draw from each of those sectors, so we're having cross-pollination of ideas and ways to be able to reduce homelessness in our state. It's very critical that that takes place.
Diversity then being the key, because obviously everybody comes at things from a bit of a different perspective.
Absolutely, and not only the diverse perspective, but the fact that the only way you can solve systemic problems like homelessness is when everyone who contributes to the whole issue of a society gets a chance to give input at the table, but also their role. For example, if I solve homelessness from the perspective of saying, well, maybe the individuals, it's a religious issue. Maybe they've lost their way. Maybe they've lost their self-esteem. And so they go to a house of worship, they get hope. And people like me, I'm a preacher, so I preach hope.
Inspiring.
Yeah, exactly. But I inspire them, but if they can't get a job because they don't have the skills, then it needs someone from the business sector to come and provide that kind of input. And so there has to be this cross-pollination of ideas at the table and cross-pollination of input in order for individuals to see homelessness solved.
From a political perspective, Governor Christie, comes from a Republican Party. He's obviously they're definitely hawks on cutting the budget and being fiscally responsible. But in the past few weeks, he has talked an awful lot about assisting folks on a social level. He's talked about taking back the cities, fighting crime, substance abuse. Right. Really, a stance that perhaps is maybe out of line with some of the members in his party, not necessarily here in New Jersey, but nationwide. What do you think about the governor and the tact he's taking on fighting these specific social issues?
I think it's a very good tactic, because the role of government, the reason why we voted for Governor Christie to be in office, whether we voted or not, he's in office for him. And the reason why we put leaders in office is because they should represent the people. Represent the people's needs, represent the people's challenges, and to be a voice for the people. So there should be some level level of social justice and advocacy that the government provides, and the fact that he's concerned not just about, you know, political issues, but also social issues, that's where people are. If everyone has a family, everyone has brothers and sisters, aunts and cousins and nieces and nephews and parents and children, and we care about the next generation, we care about the well-being, the emotional well-being, the moral well-being, as well as the financial well-being of our family. And so I'm thankful the governor has made this an issue. My concern, though, is that the governor will bring people to the table that are not just politicians. I'm not knocking politicians. I'm simply saying that they...
a lot of them come on our show.
Yeah, I'm not knocking them. I'm simply saying that they look at life through one prism. And we need people that's going to look at life from a very holistic perspective. So we need a table that where the 5 sectors of society represented, so we can see change that can facilitate healing in our community and society.
Doctor, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure, Luke.
Good to see you. All right. That just about wraps it up for us, folks. We'd like to hear what you think about anything we discussed in today's show. Visit our New Jersey Power and Politics Facebook page. You can check out photos of all of our guests and yours truly. Go to NJ-Power-Politics and give us your take on all the latest political headlines. We might even discuss your responses on next week's show. That's going to do it for this week. I'm Luke Margolis. Thanks for watching New Jersey Power and Politics. We're keeping them honest, and we'll see you next time.